Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's your old boy, Josh Thomas here. I also have your old boy, Rogers Bass here as well.
Why am I an old boy now?
I don't know why I'm an old boy either. I don't know why I started that.
From an old Disney movie, like, come on over here, old yeller. I'm gonna take you out and back and do what's what with the shotgun. So,
well, I always say that to you.
True. This is also my first video anywhere since the new year, so congratulations on you for getting the scoop.
Listen, I'm always going to get the scoop from you, buddy.
All right, maybe pause.
So, what? All right, listen. We're gonna talk today about Nintendo NX, and specifically, I wanted to talk about the fact that Nintendo NX is coming out holiday 2016. This year, we are getting a new Nintendo console. I'm putting money on that, Roger.
Well, the thing is, why exactly do you want to do this video now? Because I feel like we've talked about this ad nauseum in so many different discussions. We're both on the same page, spoiler alert to anybody who's tuning in right now. We both believe NX is coming in 2016, no question. But I'm curious, was there like a news story or something I missed over the break?
Well, so Emily Rogers
a friend of mine.
A huge post. Yeah. She's got a huge post which lists a bunch of sources from analysts talking about the fact that they also believe that the Nintendo NX is launching this holiday season. Now, they don't necessarily have inside information. Some kind of do. Some really are just speculating and saying, yeah, it makes sense. So I thought, given that, and given the fact that NX is always going to be something to talk about, especially now. I mean, we all want the NX, I'd assume, right?
I mean, absolutely. Kill off poor little Wii U, man. I'm ready.
I can't wait to throw mine in the garbage.
Oh, no, see, that's the thing. Is for me, like, I will say this, is despite the ultimate failure of the system, like, I do actually think it's probably one of my favorite Nintendo systems. In terms of,
wow, one of your favorites?
Yes, because, well, at least in recent memory, I could think, I certainly have had as much fun with my Wii U as I had with my GameCube. And I love my GameCube. And I've had a lot of fun with my Wii U. And I have a lot of games that I got digital this generation that I can't just like toss away my Wii U. I need to keep those games.
Oh, that's true.
Really, the only games I have that are physical, two of which I got for Christmas, are Super Mario Maker, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Skylanders because Activision sent it to me, Wii Fit U because it came with the balance board, and Nintendo Land. Those are the only physical games. Everything, Splatoon, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Fatal Frame, which I still haven't done my review for you, and I'm sorry about that. But whatever.
Well, you're off the hook now. That was like 3 months ago.
I just got a game for free then. But like Xenoblade and Shovel Knight and Meme Run, all these great games like Meme Run, I have saved in my system, and I don't really want to lose them. So I don't think my Wii U's going to be going to the garbage, but it might if they ultimately have some type of system in place where you could transfer over your digital purchase to the new system. And if you can't do that, then yes, my Wii U is going right in the trash.
I've been waiting to throw mine in the garbage can since December of 2012.
I don't know about that. No. Pikmin 3 was a masterpiece.
Yeah, I'm just joking. I mean, I agree. Yeah, the Wii U has some pretty great games. I'm just joking for, just to be an ass, but I am ready to like move on from Wii U. I've been ready. Like I want a console that is. I mean, I feel like Nintendo needs to move on from the Wii U. As somebody who really adores Nintendo, despite what some people might think, I think it's best. It is best for them to move on from Wii U because it's not going anywhere. The well is tapped. There's no more water down there. Go to another hole. You know what I mean? Like, for example. Do you think, even though Nintendo keeps saying that it's coming to Wii U, do you really think that The Legend of Zelda Wii U is going to be exclusive to the Wii U?
Of course not. But I also don't think, I don't think it's only coming to Wii U, though. But I do totally think it'll be NX and Wii U. And I know a lot of people are still holding to their guns like, yeah, it's a Wii U only game, it's a Wii U only game. Or like, even some people are being like, no, it's only going to be an NX, they're just trolling. I don't think so. I think it's going to be both.
Yeah, I mean, I can see both happening. I think what they'll do is the same thing they did with Twilight Princess, to where it'll arrive as a launch title for NX in like middle of November, and then the Wii U version of it will come out like a month later in December, before Christmas time.
Yeah, and I actually could not agree more with that. And I was looking into it while we were talking, and actually I found one of those quote-unquote leaks that was talking about like when the NX might potentially come out, and this one was actually from Nomura Securities, which is a relatively well-known, reputable source in Japan, and their assumption is that Nintendo is going to unveil the NX in June. Big shocker, because we already know it's going to be shown off at E3, and then it'll probably end up launching between October and November, which also makes sense considering the talk of like the production and the manufacturing that's going into it and how it's going to really start ramping up in September of next year. So October, November sounds like the right kind of rollout.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. I don't understand how anybody could not think that the NX is coming out this year.
Like I before like we get like super far into it, I agree with you totally, because like I'm coming from a standpoint that you're coming from, which is that like we've seen multiple console generations. We've been there since like, for you, Super Nintendo, original Nintendo, for me, N64. We've seen...
Listen, I'm not that much
I know,
older
but
than
it's
you.
still, it's a big enough difference that I had to point it out. And, time...
Wait, hold on. Oh, no, we're not just moving past this. You didn't play the Super Nintendo in your childhood.
No, I didn't. But we talked about this on a separate thing.
What?
I didn't play it until the Wii generation. But that's besides the point. We're getting off topic. We're getting off topic. What I wanted to make here, my point that I wanted to make, is that we've seen multiple console generations. We've seen this happen before, and I don't just mean for Nintendo systems, I mean for all systems in general. And when a system is not doing well, and the company still has money, unlike something like Sega, where they just were like, well, we ran out of money, RIP Sega, RIP the dream, they decided, all right, let's just revamp the system, let's do something new. And I think ultimately, because of the way the hardware cycles are looking right now with PS4 and Xbox One, and how Sony and Microsoft are making a point to say, listen, these consoles are on a 10-year life cycle. And ultimately, I mean, if you look at Xbox 360 and PS3, games are still being made for those systems. For a lot of people, those are still the current gen systems, even though PS4 and Xbox One and Wii U have been on the market for so long, and I think a lot of people still kind of put Wii U in that between like the PS3 Xbox generation and the PS4 Xbox One generation, solely based on power alone, not just because of like release date. Like now it sort of seems like Nintendo's doing their own thing, but I think the strongest thing that Nintendo could do if they did actually want to once again compete with Sony and Microsoft would be to release the NX like next year. Well, this year, I guess it's 2016 now. Release it.
It's next year
exactly.
now.
So release it this year. Have it come out, and then they're only like 2 or 3 years, until like PS4, Xbox One. So that gives a good 6-7 years of life cycle on NX. Allows Nintendo to sort of get back in the game. They'll actually be able to get the multi-platforms. We already know companies like Square Enix totally have their back, because they've already announced Dragon Quest is coming to NX. They want to put Final Fantasy XIV on NX. They're even like, now there's rumors going around that Final Fantasy VII will probably make NX as well because of Cloud and Smash. So we've got all these really strong third parties. They have the high possibility of easy multi-platform games, so long as the system's not some super crazy looking thing. And based on current rumors that it's a home console, it's probably not going to be something super crazy unless like the hardware is, the hybrid thing that we've all been talking about, which it could very well be. But power-wise, it sounds like it's not going to be that much different than PS4 and Xbox One. And ultimately, I think if they were going to release a system that's the same power level as those systems, they got to do it this year. Otherwise, it'll be too late.
Yeah. I think another clue as to the fact that it's coming out this holiday season is look at the games we've been getting for like the last year.
Right.
None of them are like big releases. A lot of them seemed incredibly rushed. They seem like kind of a quick afterthought. I think all the games we've been getting is because the big teams and all the really big ideas are being worked on ahead of time for NX, because Nintendo didn't want to see a repeat of what they saw with the Wii U.
Right. And
I'm really hoping that's the case.
I'm betting that's the case, because even Iwata mentioned that like they officially learned their lesson with Wii U in terms of launch lineups, that like you need to have something. And I know like they still kind of did better with Wii U than they did with NX, because they did technically have a Mario game at launch, but you and I both know.
Or you mean Wii?
No. I'm sorry, I mean Wii U. Yeah. But I said NX, I'm sorry. But my point that I'm going into is that he knows, and he knew even before his death, and I'm sure this kind of thing is carried on, that the next home console must launch with a real Mario game. Because you and I are in agreement that New Super Mario Brothers, Wii U, whatever, that piece of garbage was not a real Mario game. That was
Oh, you mean 3D World?
No, I mean New Super Mario.
Oh, you mean yeah. New Super Mario Brothers U, which was a launch title. That seemed incredibly rushed, in my opinion.
Super rushed HD garbage, whatever, like half thought about game that they wanted to have out there because they wanted a Mario game in the system. And ultimately, as someone who is now pretty much sick of Mario and is only now getting used to the series again, thanks to Mario Maker and like the cool ideas that other people are making, it needs to have some type of real big revolutionary type Mario game at launch for there to be any sort of traction, or do what they did with Wii and have a really strong casual game like Wii Sports that really appeals to the masses while still having a super hardcore game like the new Zelda.
Yeah, that's another thing. I think I might be in a minority when I say this, but I think Nintendo does need to try and recapture some of that Wii audience. I think that the casual gamer is just as important as a hardcore gamer. You need to have those Wii Fit, Wii Sports kind of audience. You need to bring that into NX because they were not really there for Wii U, and the sales obviously were not too good. So maybe that's one of the reasons as to why. So yeah, I think you need the hardcore Nintendo fans, you need the hardcore audience, but you also definitely need the casual audience, and I don't think they made enough of an effort to appeal to the casual audience for Wii U. I know that some people are going to be like, well, that's because the casual audience went to mobile and they're using their iPad, but that's the thing about the casual audience, they're sheep. They're not loyal to anything. They're going to go to whatever's new, whatever's flashy. So Nintendo can get them back, is what I'm saying.
For sure.
They went from Wii to the iPad, so why can't they go from the iPad to NX? I think it's, or why not both, They could be on their iPad or their phone and also love Nintendo's games, especially with Nintendo using their mobile efforts to advertise the stuff that will likely be on NX.
Right, and I do think on top of that, too, you mentioned a good point with casual gamers and like how they're just sheep. They'll go to whatever's like the most popular thing, the newest thing, whatever. But I will say this about the current generation we're in with PS4, Wii U, and Xbox One, is that it seems like a majority of casual gamers gravitated towards PS4 and Xbox One due to like the TV kind of features and like all the other extra features. Like I have a lot of friends who use their PS4 and use their Xbox One as Blu-ray players and Netflix machines. Like I know a lot of people who do that. And ultimately Wii U didn't have that. Wii U had a Blu-ray drive but couldn't play Blu-rays. Wii U had Netflix, but it wasn't like the same level of Netflix that like Xbox One and PS4 have. It doesn't have voice recognition, any of that stuff. So I think ultimately, if they want to get back that casual gamer, a really easy way to do it might be to incorporate more of that TV type stuff. And they tried with Wii U. Oh boy, did they try. If anyone forgot already the travesty that was TVII.
Oh, that was not even a thing, really. Like, I still don't know what the hell that was.
A horrible abomination of them trying to reach that type of audience that I was talking to you about, when ultimately it was far too different. People didn't want to go to their extra little screen to click onto things. The Miiverse integration was really weird. So, yeah, I think something that sort of treads the line between the casual stuff that's currently on PS4 and Xbox One and the hardcore stuff that we come to expect from those systems as well as from Nintendo systems of yore is kind of what we need to see on NX. So
yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned like different apps on the like Netflix, for example, because I remember like with the Wii, they had a bunch of like strange little apps that could appeal to that sort of mainstream audience. Like remember the Wii had a weather channel and a news channel and a photo channel.
Hey, that was my favorite.
Yeah, we got. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't get a single unique, quirky little channel for the Wii U at all.
No, we didn't. The only one I guess you can make an argument for would be Animal Crossing Plaza, kind of. And also
that's really just Animal Crossing.
Kind of the Wii Street U thing too.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was kind of
Yeah, but that's pretty much it.
I don't know what that did.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Because, like I said, Wii U has Netflix and Hulu and all this stuff, but the way it's integrated is it's not anywhere near as streamlined as on the other systems. So,
I will say though, I actually do use my Wii U a lot for Netflix.
Me too. I mean, yeah, of course. But that's also because we primarily play Wii U. And as much as we hate on a lot of stuff that they've been doing as of recently, like, I mean, we're both Nintendo fanboys at the end of the day. So, of course, we're going to use the system that we most normally use to watch Netflix. So, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I think they need to try and appeal to the casual audience a bit more with NX. And I think that they will if they're smart.
Yeah, I think so.
one of the things that I just want to point out is like, what would you? This is a question for you. Okay, we've heard about Pikmin 4. God, remember Pikmin 4 is like nearly done according to Miyamoto. So like, what's going on with that? There's no way they're going to announce that. Hold on a second. I'm going to edit this out. Somebody's calling me. So there's no way they're going to announce Pikmin 4 for the Wii U at E3. Like, that would be insane. I don't think they will announce a single big or even mildly big game for the Wii U at E3. Do you?
No. And I mean, ultimately, I think if Pikmin 4 was a Wii U game, I think we would have seen it already.
Definitely.
Or, you know, normally in January, they do have those really big Nintendo Directs, and it is January. So if we do end up getting a Nintendo Direct this month, and then boom, we get like the exact release date of Bayonetta and Corrin for Smash, and we get the exact release date for, you know, a lot of the other spring games that are coming out, like Pokken and the rest of that, and we get, you know, some other big Wii U announcement, because normally we do get big game announcements of unannounced titles during those January Directs, then maybe I could see Pikmin 4 being one of those games, and that would be like the swan song of the system. But I think ultimately, you know, Pikmin is a franchise that relies heavily on its amazing graphics. I think it would make a lot of sense to have that game at the launch of a system to really show off the graphical fidelity of it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Pikmin is a series that it's like popular in a way, but also like sales wise, it's never really been a huge seller. So I feel like to put it on the tail end of the Wii U, which is, by the way, Nintendo's least successful game console, if you exclude like Virtual Boy and Game Boy Micro. Like, the Wii U is less successful than the GameCube, by the way. So like, to put Pikmin 4 at the end of that is just like, wow, you're sending it out to die, and for what reason? So, I mean, just, oh my god, imagine Pikmin 4, an NX launch title. We see it at E3. It's gorgeous. It's got all these new ideas. Oh my god, that would be amazing. Launching alongside Zelda.
Oh yeah,
which is also on that.
I think that's the thing, right? What if we got, because potentially this could happen, right? A lot of these teams, we don't know what they're working on. Even Star Fox was outsourced to Platinum, so one of the main teams isn't even working on Star Fox. So we have a lot of teams, we have no idea what they're working on. NX is, you know, clearly coming this year. There's a lot of stuff that could come. You know, we are potentially looking at a year where we could get a revolutionary new Mario game, a cross-release Zelda title, Pikmin 4, and let's say like something like an Amiibo game. You know, they could launch with those 4 games at the launch of NX, and I think that would be one of the strongest launch lineups in Nintendo's history.
Yeah, I mean, and then not even, you know, who knows what they could do with like the whole Wii Sports series with this new controller. If they have a new controller, maybe it'll be something different that would really lend itself to one of their like Wii related
or
series.
Even like other early very easy ports they could do. Like they could have like a Championship Edition Smash Brothers with all the stuff from the Wii U and 3DS edition. They could have a Star Fox Zero version with no motion control. They could have, you know, like they could do a whole bunch of stuff because of the way they've been doing DLC, where if they wanted to have really easy ports at launch, they could do like full, you know, championship editions of stuff like Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Splatoon, and just include all the DLC from the get-go, and then maybe include some new features that are on NX. And I don't think necessarily they're going to do that, because I still kind of hold out hope there's going to be some type of like thing where if you have a game digitally, you'll be able to play it on NX. And I do also think that like eventually NX will get its own Smash Brothers and Splatoon and Mario Kart, because every Nintendo system has. But I think if they wanted to sort of have more solid games at launch, they could do that by just releasing games they already have out with all their DLC in one bundle for like an easy price.
I think that this is what I'm really hoping. Like, obviously, I've been pretty down on Nintendo lately, and
really,
I think I know it's hard to believe, right? Especially if you follow me on Twitter, you would never have guessed.
I don't know, with the onset of Dark Joshi and the bitch block and Lamar Wilson, it's been a rough year for you, my boy.
I know, but we're starting fresh here. I can't. So you know what? I remember when I first saw the Wii, like when I first saw that damn controller, the Revolution controller, I was instantly on board. I was instantly filled with glee. I was so excited. I could see the potential. I could not wait to own it. It was like a magical little device, and I couldn't wait to own it and play the games. And then when we saw the games at E3 2006, we saw Mario Galaxy for the first time. Even stuff like Excite Truck was cool. And it's like, I never got that with Wii U. Like when I saw the controller, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that's pretty much something people were already guessing, that it would have a touchscreen and all that. I was like, all right. Then when I saw the games, I was like, okay, yeah, all right. And there was never that moment of, whoa, this is amazing. And I am so hoping that we finally get that with the NX. And I really believe that because the Wii kind of crashed a couple years early for Nintendo, I think they wanted the Wii to be popular for a couple more years. I think the fact that it kind of crashed forced them to get another system out, and it was the Wii U. And I think that they had the idea for the Wii U gamepad for a while, and it was just kind of sitting on a shelf, the concepts. Right. So maybe they're like, all right, well, what can we do? What can we get into development the fastest? And I think the gamepad was one of those things. And I think the Wii U is really just kind of a speed bump or a detour along the way from Wii to NX. I think it's just a little bit of something that had to happen in the middle, but we'll be back to Nintendo greatness come the launch of NX this year at the end of this year.
I agree with you on that front, because I was at E3 the year they announced Wii U, like for the first time showed Wii U, and that jaw-dropping oh my god moment for me is something that we never got. Ultimately, we're never going to get, which is that Zelda game that we saw in the tech demo, which ultimately looked like Twilight Princess and what a lot of people were expecting Twilight Princess HD to actually look like. This beautiful, like amazing, realistic looking Zelda game, and we never got that. And honestly, we didn't even get that till the end of GameCube either, and they showed that off, back when the GameCube was first shown off as well. And I agree with you. I think that E3 where they showed off Wii for the first time was one of the most jaw-dropping, revolutionary, crazy things. Yeah. And the last time I felt that from a press conference in my entire time going to E3, because my first E3 was the Mario Galaxy 2 Other M year. So back when they were still doing live press conferences. And the only moment in any of their conferences, directs, whatever, of the past 5 years, they gave me the same type of, oh my god, like kind of feeling that I felt during E3 2006 watching it at home, was 3DS for the first time. I think, regardless of what people say about Wii U, 3DS has been a extraordinarily successful system for Nintendo.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I think even though it had a couple speed bumps at launch, because I think a lot of people tend to forget about the fact that 3DS had a really rough first year, like seeing Kid Icarus, a series that no one ever expected to come back ever, not launch, but was shown at the announcement of 3DS, and the way it looked almost like a Wii game, and to see 3D for the first time without glasses on, it was just like, it was an incredible experience. That E3 was remarkable, and if they're able to pull off anything like that at this year's E3, or especially if they have a live press conference, please, Nintendo's marketing team, JC, Danny, all my boys over there, please, if you're listening to this right now, do a live press conference. I think it'll do you guys good. I think, seeing NX there, having the excitement of the theater, I don't know. I think it could do you a lot of good. So that's what I want to see. I want to see a live press conference at E3, and I want to see a full blowout that's going to make my jaw drop.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that since they stopped doing press conferences, we haven't had a new system announced, like a totally new system announced. They've never done that in a Nintendo Direct or a digital event. And I agree. You do need that big stage to reveal a new piece of hardware.
Right.
So, maybe this E3 Nintendo will actually have a press conference or something big on stage to reveal the system. And I think that would definitely set it off on the right foot, providing, of course, it's a good idea and it's got all this cool stuff with it.
Yeah, and this is also kind of unprecedented territory that we're stepping into right now, because with Wii, even like the year before Wii came out, Wii launched in 2006? So the year before we came out, we still had at that press conference at E3 in 2005, Iwata on stage saying, "Revolution, it's coming. Smash Brothers is one of the launch titles. Here's a quick little 3-second snippet of what Metroid Prime is going to look like on the system. We're doing this crazy thing called Virtual Console that we've never done before." And then even later that year at Space World, he showed off for the first, or was it Space World or Tokyo Game Show? One of the two, I can't remember. He showed off,
I think Tokyo Game
he showed
Show.
off for the first time the controller, and they showed off that initial teaser video where we didn't even see games. We just saw like people chopping onions on their table with it and conducting orchestras, and everyone was like, "What the hell is this amazing thing that I need to have right now?" And
I want that for NX so bad. I want that feeling.
It's past that point right now. If it's coming out this year, we have not yet had that. We didn't get that teaser. We didn't get that that thing that's going to whet our appetite to make us excited for this, because they're still kind of wanting to sell Wii U's, you know? And so because of that, it's really hard for me to get as excited for NX as I was for, you know, the Wii, because we haven't had that little teaser. And I think if they're really smart about it, I know they said they're going to do the full blowout at E3. I think they should release like some type of teaser video, something like maybe as early even as a direct this month.
Well, listen, according to Nomura Securities, who is the newest source to talk about NX coming this year, they say that it's going to be revealed in the first quarter of this year, like really discussed and talked about. They're going to talk about NX in the first quarter of this year.
And that the big reveal will be in June?
That the big reveal would be in June, and that would be when they show games and stuff.
I mean, that'd be great. I'd be extraordinarily happy with that. And I mean, mind you, even looking at 2016 right now for Wii U and 3DS, even if we didn't get a new system this year, I would still be happier this year than what we got last year. I mean, easily, because, and I know that doesn't stand the same for you, but last year, to me, the only things of note were Xenoblade, Splatoon, Mario Maker, and the Smash Brothers DLC with some indie games. To me, that's all that I even cared about. And for 3DS, what even was that? Like, it was a Majora's Mask remake that wasn't as good as the first game. Codename Steam, which was just like this failed IP that like was just weird and like was not that good. And then we had like Amiibo Festival and Rushed Mario Tennis.
That game of the year.
Like, so just a horrible year for Nintendo overall, despite the amazing games like Xenoblade and Mario Maker. Overall, it was just a very poor year for them. And looking into this year, I mean, it's already better because we have Star Fox, which could go either way, but I mean, I'm still excited for a new Star Fox game. We have Fire Emblem Fates on the 3DS. We have tons of awesome third-party games on the 3DS. We have Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem on Wii U. We have the new Zelda coming. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming out this year that makes me go like, oh my god, I need to have it, I need to play it. And I didn't necessarily feel that last year. So that much alone, I already know 2016 is going to be a good year for Nintendo, or at least, at the very least, a better year than 2015 was. And then if NX ends up coming too, and then we end up getting some amazing game at launch, This could be Nintendo's big comeback year. I really think so.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm absolutely ready to finally just be stupidly in love with Nintendo again and not really have to complain about stuff like Ziplash, Amiibo Festival, Ultra Smash, and just all these stupid games that are rushed and just bad ideas to begin.
So I'm curious, and this is actually a news story that I'm assuming you probably aren't going to do a video on, so I'm just going to bring this up anyway because I heard this like a couple days ago or whatever, but I wasn't going to make a video on it for a bunch of reasons. But there was news that Sakurai announced that he is now working on his next project. And yes.
Really?
So Sakurai's announced he is working currently on his next project. What that says to me is it's definitely not Smash Brothers, because clearly they're still making DLC for the one we have now. Do you think maybe that project could be an NX launch title? And if so, what do you think it's going to be?
I think it could be definitely I think it could be an NX game. I don't know if it would be a launch title. If he's just starting, I especially don't think it could be a launch title, because that would be like under a year of
Melee was made in 8 months, so...
But was it really?
So, I mean...
It shows, Roger, because that's the worst Smash Brothers game.
I know you're saying that to me right now, so I'm not even going to fall for the bait.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be. I don't know what it could be, but I think it could be a launch title or launch window, I would say.
Yeah. What if it was Kirby Air Ride 2? They could make months, right?
I'm down for that.
Fully online Kirby Air Ride, man, give me that.
Heck yeah.
You know what I'd even want? You know what's a Sakurai game I love, but no one ever brings it up? Meteos. I love Meteos.
Yeah.
Man. They could release that on like the eShop, have it as like an eShop launch title or something for NX with these beautiful Galaxy backgrounds. Give me a new Meteos, please. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting that Sakurai's already working on a game. Hopefully it's NX.
Yeah, I think it has to. It has to be, you know? It's like...
Yeah, that'd be the best use of him and his team, I'd imagine.
Sure.
All right, well, Roger, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you?
Sure. I mean, you could find me Rogers Base everywhere. I feel like at this point, everybody who listens to these discussions with the two of us pretty much knows where to find me. So, and thanks for having me on. This, like I said, the first video I've done this year, so I appreciate you having me on.
Yep. NX Holiday 2016 launching with Pikmin 4 and Zelda.
Let's go. Let's go.